started to give Dan credit for that, and I still want to do that because he's the great teacher, you know, and he wants to get us all together so we can share our stuff, and he just steps right back out of the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why all of us will do. If Dan asks us to do something, we'll all jump and say, "Sure, Dan, whatever you want."
We were just at Northwoods, and TJ said, "I'm here because Dan told me to be here."
Exactly, and I would be too, except that I just can't travel anymore.
Uh-huh. We got 55 people in here. We got a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I don't have that many donuts.
Well, you got a nice knife. We'll just cut it up into 55 pieces.
Oh, no, we could do tiny little pieces.
Is your iPad plugged in? Do you have plenty of battery?
I have no idea. I've never used an iPad.
It's good. It's fully charged.
It was cool. So we'll continue. We will continue, and if not, we can plug it in. I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll be fine. You want to kick things off and maybe introduce some of your crew, or are they shy, or you guys aren't shy, right?
Kinda.
You're amongst friends. You're amongst other guitar goobers here, so there's nothing.
Can we carry this around?
Yeah.
Front. Switch the camera to front.
I will. I'm Brian, everybody. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Brian.
Hey,
Brian. How long have you been at Gryphon?
21 years.
It seems like a good stretch.
Yeah, not bad, right?
What kind of job duties do you have there?
I kind of help run the place now, but I do a little bit of everything.
So administrative and guitar loosen?
Mostly working at my bench.
Repair stuff.
But all repairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not filing things in the card catalog or anything like that. You're
maybe I spend about a half an hour a day on the email, but that's about it.
Cool.
But mostly fixing things, which is what I like doing. And then we'll take a tour around the shop here, flip the camera. All right. And here we have Hideo. Say hi, Hideo.
Hi, Hideo.
Hi.
Looks like a bridge reglue.
Yeah.
Cool.
Removing the bridge now.
Cool.
Yep, old Martins.
This was Repro 18. 1954, something like that.
Yeah,
awesome.
54 0018.
Got a Brazilian rosewood bridge on there. Looks nice.
Yes, it is.
I know we're making a new one, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because this one's been shaved down and we're doing a neck reset. So
awesome. So that thing's just coming off there and getting marked up and put in the drawer with all the other ones, huh?
We'll probably give it back to the customer because people, they like a lot of times they like to have the original bridge, even if it's been cut down.
Yeah. What's that little tank next to it? Is that a?
Pardon me?
Oh, the little box to the right of the guitar, down just a little bit.
This little box here.
Yeah.
This,
is that?
This one is our idol.
Oh, the heat blankets. Okay.
Yeah. All things heat blanket related, I think.
Awesome. And it looks like an infrared. You got an infrared thermometer there?
Yes.
Cool.
This is actually a drawer unit from a big cabinet.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, heat blanket for bridge, heat blanket for the fingerboard extension.
Cool. Hideo, how long have you been at Gryphon?
Here is 3 years now, actually.
Awesome. And
25 years before that at Saga.
At Saga. So that was like everybody. I remember the guy that I came up working with. He got a lot of guitars from Saga. Were they Blue Ridge and I forget.
Yeah, Blue Ridge, Gold Star,
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Are they still rocking and rolling? Are they still going?
Bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How are the Kentucky mandolins these days? I remember they kind of went up and down and
better than ever. They've been chasing Eastman now.
Yeah.
And we just saw the newest ones yesterday, and they are really good.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Time marches on, man.
It sure is.
So
Continue our tour around the shop.
yeah,
All right. Here, this is Luke.
Luke got the blue glove on, ready for action.
Gloves, yeah. Working on a nice old L5 here, 1960.
And what do you got going on there? You got the pickups suspended there, ready for?
Yeah, well, we got the classic case of the pick guard going off gas. I don't know if that's coming through. You can see all that. So it was all over all the hardware. So we're cleaning it up and it'll be sold in the shop.
Cool. Are you making a new guard or preserving that one in state?
We have a repro guard we're gonna make work.
We're gonna cheat starting with this all parts guard here.
That looks nice.
It's really nice. They're $100, but they're a lot cheaper than making one from scratch.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't
cut out the pickup holes and it works great.
I barely walk across the street for $100 anymore. Like that guard looks nice. So you gotta like cut the pickup into it, and that's it. That's the
mount the blocks for the bracket hardware and just cut in for the pickups, and that's it.
Oh yeah. Cool. Super. Anything else to say about that one?
Was it 1968?
1968.
Other than the guard, no refret, no nothing. Just set up and get it up for sale.
The frets are in good condition. Pickups sound really good. Yeah, so it's pretty clean structurally.
Is it customer one?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
Sure.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Cool. Got a banana there for an afternoon snack. It looks like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gotta keep fueled up. A lot of fret wire up there. Holy moly! How much?
Oh yeah.
That's part of the front. We have a lot more than that.
I see like a lot of Jescar tags.
Yep, we like Jescar these days.
Wait a second, triple neck guitar up there?
Yes, it's actually a stage prop or a photo prop, so it's not a real guitar. It's a photographer friend, right, that we had made it for us.
A guy named Tim Whitehouse, he was a tester and demonstrator for the sensing units for digital cameras around here for a while. He was also a kind of a character poser for photos himself, and he put together a really amazing picture of himself with that guitar, and similar colors on his cap and his shirt and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty impressive.
Is that why the peg heads are all different colors? As he was testing out those sensors?
Exactly. It's a color sample thing.
Cool. And you got a picture up there of the shop?
There's a picture of him.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
Oh yeah, like picture in picture. Like
yeah. And then I have to show you guys something else that I just saw over on the wall here that makes me smile. How do I focus this camera? There he is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would you consider, is that an effigy? Is that a Tim effigy, would you say? Or?
For me, it's a reminder to, not keep my chisels too dull.
Oh my God.
We miss Tim around here.
I imagine.
I miss you guys.
He comes here for like an afternoon and everybody's sad when he leaves. Like it's difficult.
And here we have Henry.
Hi, Henry.
How you doing?
I'm well. I don't know if I speak for everybody here, but I'm well. What's your purview?
This is my 5th week at Gryphon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I used to be a general contractor, and I wanted to get out of that, so I went to Roberto Vin, and then I came here.
Cool. So, general contractor in the Bay Area?
Yeah, in the North Bay in Sonoma County, I was a remodeling contractor.
Oh wow.
But I was a glorified carpenter, really.
Yeah, but that's how many transferable skills have you found between this and that? Is it like learning something from scratch, or do you feel like it gave you some information?
That feeling you get right before you are going to screw something up, that's like the most valuable thing I think I picked up.
Yeah.
This verbal. Yeah.
Yeah. So do I really want to make this cut? This is the cut, right?
Or
this
like
cut right here.
Slow down, you're hurrying, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Henry was the star outstanding guy in the most recent class at Roberto Van.
Amongst a few stars, there were some
Yeah.
good kids in that class.
And
What's
Brian was too from many years back. We're, partly because of my going down there and teaching so much. I've always had a pick of the litter. The trick is to find somebody who can afford to live in this godforsaken valley.
yeah, what's that like? Are
It's like-
you charging $10,000 for a neck reset now, or
3,500 will buy you a one bedroom apartment.
oof?
Rent you one,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
I think like our average price is probably $1,200 for a reset with a refret on a Martin
Okay.
at this point, just for reference, if you were curious.
So if I divide that by the $3,500 apartment, then what's that? You got to do 10 of those a month to survive, or yeah.
The only thing is
Um,
nobody's 100% effective.
Okay.
I do a lot of strap button installs. I do 1 million strap button installs, and that gets the bill paid.
That's the deal.
What's a strap button install set you back at Gryphon?
It was $20,
I think we're doing 20.
including the button.
Thank God. I was just telling somebody the other day, I've done a lot of crazy stuff in guitar repair, and I've never once, with extreme confidence, installed a strap button. Like,
Have you ever done it on the wrong side of the heel?
yes, once early on, and I think it was like one of the first ones I did. I was like, "Ta-da!" and showed the guy I was working for, and he's like, "Funny story about that, Ian, is you should have measured twice." So, yeah, to this day, it's guitar PTSD as a result of that experience with strap buttons. Yeah,
I have a different motto, which is, geez, I've cut it twice and it's still too short.
that comes up an awful lot. Yeah, like, and I'm like, can I just glue something on the end of it? Like that just happened here recently. I had to glue something on the end of something. Let's see here. So
Should we show them the shop?
Show everything.
yeah,
You want
what's
a tour of where we make wood dust and things?
we can do that. What's that? What's that? I thought I saw like something that said Powermatic that was so old that it was actually green instead of that mustard yellow.
Oh, it's an old drill press, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Powermatic in the green.
We bought that about, I don't know, 35 years ago from Saga.
Uh-huh.
Putting some stuff and sold that off for, I don't know, I think we must have paid $150 for it
Uh-huh.
back
still-
then.
Still in service, still got what it takes to go up
Yeah.
and down and make a hole.
Every
All right.
day.
Cool. What oh, here we are going into the dust. Oh, you got one of the old Grizzly buffers when they were still making large buffers.
Oh yeah,
Why did they quit making those?
because they were good.
Because they were good?
Who knows? Just
That looks like it's strong enough to throw a guitar right on the ground for you. Is that true? Like,
you can do that very easily. But I'll show you something else that we like a lot.
oh, soft start and speed control. Oh,
It's a 5 horsepower motor. And even at this low speed, it has full power.
yeah. Oh,
You
so
can-
full torque.
And you can easily mimic hand buffing or hand polishing with it. Because it's just so, at that speed, the buff can be so soft that it doesn't finish off corners or anything. But of course, that's for only the final super gloss sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
So-
otherwise,
Did you build that in after the fact, or did it actually come with a variable speed control?
no, it's a 3-phase variable speed, full deal.
Wow.
That Grizzly at one time they were really into like trying to capture the guitar market, and so they had a lot of really interesting like guitar specific tools, and that I believe that was one of them.
Old Shiraz took a class from Charles Fox, and he fell in love with the Versa-Vise.
Uh-huh.
at Fox's place. And so eventually he gave one to his engineers and said, draw this up. I'm going to make them in China. And that's the parrot vise we all know.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who has not used a Versa-Vise has really shortchanged themselves for versatility. They're not the strongest vise in the world, but they are impossibly versatile and easy to use.
You have one on the end of every bench there, right? Like every workbench has a Versa-Vise on it. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. It has been that way for a long. We learned that one from Hideo Kamimawa. It's absolutely the best tool imaginable for our use.
When we run by one, can you kind of give us a rundown of it? And
Of course.
but so you got a mill there to the left?
This is Grizzly's wood mill.
Oh, cool.
And it's like a regular milling machine. Lighter duty by a lot than a Bridgeport, but it's got a bigger table. So Grizzly had it made up specifically for the woodworking crowd. It's extremely simple, easy to use, and it is just the right ticket for routing pickup cavities and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then dreaded solid body guitars.
Yeah. Which now you can tell the difference between a Tele and a Strat, correct? Like
Now I can.
okay.
By
Time marches
looking-
on. How many RPM is that mill?
It's variable
Variables,
speed
right?
by pulleys. And I don't know about speed changes.
Here we go.
Oh, all the way up to 5,000. So that's pretty good. Like you have a Bridgeport too at home, right?
I have a Bridgeport clone, yeah.
Yeah.
But-
And those are what, like go up to three and some change or something, or
I don't even remember that one. I think it might be 5. No, maybe 3,500. I just don't recall.
Yeah.
And
What's your current? I see a lot of clamps over there. What's your current favorite clamp for gluing bridges on?
Oh, well, we should show them that.
sure.
Well, that's the wood shop. Got old Rockwell bandsaw, a bunch of
Oh,
sanders.
we can still hang out in here for just a second if you got more to show in there. I don't mean to go all distractibility on you guys and have you go in a million different
If you want to
directions, but
sanders with the tables, that'd be okay, but whatever you like.
I'll do a quick kind of roundabout. So we have our old Rockwell bandsaw,
that thing's beautiful.
some marble sanding tables here with descending grits for sanding nuts and saddles.
Oh, and the world's safest disc sander.
The
Oh,
world's
look at
safest
that.
sander here. Little hand
Oh,
and crank
So
thing.
got a Flintstone aesthetic.
Yeah. Saving the planet, man.
That's great.
It's absolutely terrific for certain things.
Over
You
1
know,
inch.
Frank, tell us a little bit about the 1-inch sander and why everybody should have one. Like I feel like this is an underrepresented tool in a lot of shops.
Absolutely. It's built as a metalworking grinder, but the versatility of this for us is it's really easy to work around it. If you want to do say some saddle shaping or nut shaping, you can just take a simple scrap of wood. Demo here. Any little scrap of wood, put it up on the table, so you're actually touching the belt, and then you can do a little shaping. There's no chance that it would suck the piece down in.
Yeah.
This one has an adjustable table under the bottom wheel,
Ooh.
and if you use the little push sticks that we make here, you can send a saddle through there and thickness it to within about 1,000.
Really cool.
Quickly and easily. And it's something we use all the time. fact, the whole idea of sanders with tables really is one of the things that I believe a lot in.
Yeah.
There's the big Rockwell, Delta Rockwell 6-inch sander, the classic high school shop one.
Uh-huh.
It's got an adjustable table under its bottom too.
Yeah.
We can thickness veneers or whatever. And even this oscillating disc drum sander, I made a table for the fence for the back of it so we could send stuff through there.
If you're
With a 2-inch drum on there, it's exactly right for making Martin bridges because they use a 1-inch radius cut on the ends.
so
100% of it.
so you would use that fence to make a Martin bridge wing on there?
Right, so that'd be the scoop down. And that, as I say, it's all, one of the things about Martin bridges is they're always 1-inch radius on that.
Yeah.
And so it's a 2-inch drum and you're all free.
Do you have any problems with one end trying to suck it into the machine, trying to climb cut it, or do you do?
Oh no, go the other. We don't climb cut with this thing.
You just flip the blank over, so you're always pushing in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, climb cutting on belt sanders that's a recipe for instant death.
All right, a lot of tape up there. What's new in the world of tape technology? You got any secret tapes?
I get these mailers from RSUs. They're always trying to give me. They're always trying to sell the latest technology in tape. I just throw them away. I don't know. We're just not that much into tape, I guess, are we?
Well, we're into just regular stuff. Yeah.
Regular stuff. Looks like you got some masking tape.
Masking tape, that sign maker's tape that everybody uses for pick cards now.
Right.
Thanks to Bob Taylor, and electrical tape for the wiring stuff and so on. Really, just not exactly a tape outfit. I don't believe typically in taping. Say if you're going to thickness a saddle or something, conventional wisdom is to tape it down to a board, and I find that that's just a complete waste of time. With a little belt sander like this, you can just shove the thing underneath. You don't need to bother with that at all.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, man.
I'd love if we could get like a photo of the 1-inch sander with the jig underneath for thicknessing saddles to post on the website.
Yeah, I can talk to him about getting that afterwards.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, sure. We can take pictures of anything you'd like. That's no problem.
Right. Yeah, we can. I'll put
Hey,
that
Frank.
in the.
Yeah.
I still have a roll of blue tape that you gave me years ago that I only use on special occasions because you said you can't get any more of it. Do you remember that tape?
Extremely
A
well.
wide
Man.
6-inch roll.
It was wonderful. I bought it at a surplus place, and I bought a bag of them. And sorry to see them go.
Was there a special feature like it was like the best low tack, or was it just really good tape?
No, I have no idea. It's
Okay.
just a good tape.
And you don't have it anymore.
No, hell, you got the last of it, buddy.
You're out of it.
You got the last of it, Val.
Okay, we were going to talk about best clamps for bridge reglues, I think.
Shall we go in there and
Let's
find them?
Let's just show you what we usually use if you'd like to see it. Bridge glue is a huge topic for a shop like ours. That doesn't mean Martin style seal springs. It means everything
Yeah.
from flamenco guitars to ukuleles to Eastern European things or whatever we may have thrown our way.
let's see. Hey, Hideo. Oh, never mind. Hey, Henry, can you help us out over here real quick? we're gonna try to show them the bridge clamps we use for in the bottom drawer over here.
Yeah, you can just dig that out.
How many people per square foot do you have in there?
35.
Oh, wow.
35. No, we have a pretty good amount of space actually here.
Whoa. Whoa.
Let's show the modified cross piece. So these are all clamps that Frank modified and welded with an offset. Let's see. Where's my camera?
So two. Dude.
And we got a whole bunch of aluminum cauls, you know, for the different sizes of bridge plates
Yeah.
that bolt onto them.
There's one with a call on it.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look at this. Dude, that's exciting.
We also use the Waverly style clamps and stuff for some of them. Sometimes like
Thanks,
with a
Adam.
fan brace, possible
Thank you.
stack of those is better.
So is that how you would, like, if you were going to heat a bridge plate out, would you put a blanket on that and insert it, or do you do something different?
Hey, Hideo, do you have your bridge plate heater handy?
Ah, yeah, I do.
Hideo's got a nice bridge plate heater. Let's use.
Already the guitar's changed. That doesn't look like a 50s triple O anymore.
It shrunk a little bit. I think it's still 50s, but I think we got a 518 now. Yeah.
Here is my
Oh, wow.
bed heater. For this. For this one,
What's-
that doesn't work.
It might not want to go in that 518.
Yeah.
So it goes in there and you've got the cord on it. Is that phenolic on the top of it, or?
He's wanting to know what materials this is.
This is brass, and the
Oh,
inside
brass.
has the heater. I got
Oh.
from coffee cup heater.
Very
Uh,
cool.
Remove the heater, and then this case is made of brass. Yeah, I made it.
Dude, it looks awesome. That is really slick.
Yeah, little bit tricky. That this arms shape is I make a couple 3-4 times and then change cut a little bit, change curve. But finally this is works. But this one is guitar is too small. Doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
when I have to remove bridge plate, this is works really great.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hard spot to apply heat to.
Yeah. I like.
Particularly, I want to show them the drawers and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
The O cabinet?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
And then we just pull out one drawer.
Frank, you ever thought about going into production on those bridge clamps? I mean, oh my God.
All I can say is, pal, we're going to see you around someday.
Okay.
Go in into production. I can't produce anything anymore.
I know. People must ask you that all the time. Why don't you make this and sell it through StuMac? Which you did. You sold Jack the Gripper through StuMac and all that kind of stuff.
Right. It's because they've never tried doing that. I have had one success, and that is Jack the Gripper. Maybe you guys know that one.
Well, I'd say the Frank
tool-
crank was also, I mean, I've got my Frank crank and
Talking about monetary success.
oh, okay.
Frank's Cranks is a total loser.
Oh no.
Oh, hell yeah. I got 31 operations in each crank.
Well, I feel very privileged to have mine because every time I use it, I feel like I made it the first time I used it, I made a noise. I was like, ooh, like it, you know, like when you get used to using those plastic Dunlop things where you sound like the Ichabod Crane horse rolling down the road, you know, like it just feels so nice. So
What about having a book ghost written on how to make the tools?
oh, there we go.
Got a website, don't you know?
He does.
Yeah.
Actually, we did go through the Frank's cranks pretty good.
The Frank's Cranks is in glorious, extreme detail.
Uh,
Also accessible on the Gryphon website. Every operation.
every operation.
And I have other ones, how to make your own fret cores and all that kind of stuff on the Frets website. I have to apologize ahead of time for anybody visiting that site, is that the organization hasn't gotten any better. And guess what? It's not going to. But
I think
if you go to the main index page and just do a text search, you can find what you need.
I think it's I got a soft spot in my heart for all that blue HTML stuff. Like that, I like it. I like it a lot. So what's that? Is that a sandpaper organizer there next to the West Systems caddy?
This is the sandpaper we use for fretboard sanding and fret sanding. So we keep them peeled up into strips.
Okay. So are those sticky back or regular?
No.
So regular.
No sticky back. No sticky back.
No sticky back.
Too expensive.
That
This
I
is
was
what
just
we
gonna.
do here. We just
I
wrap them around these plain bodies and hold them with our fingers, basically.
For my entire career, I've used only one tool to level fingerboards and frets, and that's it, right there.
That's
Not
cool.
this particular one, but any Stanley number 5 jack plane.
So just wrap the sandpaper around that and give it hell. What's
Just
the
hold it
black?
up, just hold it up, hold it on, and then you can throw the sandpaper away instantly without any regrets. There's no cleanup, there's no extra expense or any of that stuff. Like I said, I use it for leveling the frets and the fingerboard and the whole nine.
Awesome.
Are you double sticking the sandpaper to it, or
No.
just wrap
Start
it?
over. Let's start over. No sticky back.
Here, I'll do a quick demo.
No stickies.
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, can you hold this for a second, Hideo?
I should.
Watch that. The camera is. Oh,
We got
So
a
we-
demo.
take the sandpaper here, plain. Give it a quick
Little
wrap,
crease.
little crease on both sides. There we go.
There you go. In and out, and then
we
you're
load
not
it up
clean,
and just eject it into the trash.
and you're not worried about like cleaning all the sticky sandpaper residue off of there or
Right.
nothing. Like
It's really quick, and yeah, it's clean. And that's what most of us use.
what's the black tape, or is there tape on the side of that? What's the graphic
It's just
on there?
PVC tape. I actually don't know exactly why it's on there. It might help the sandpaper kind of. It's a little more tacky for the side of the sandpaper, probably.
Awesome. Awesome.
Maybe half a dozen of these planes.
Are those some homemade shop bags there?
Yes. Are these your homemade shop bags? That's like the universe's heaviest bag right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lead is in there.
Lead.
We've done lead and also a lot of sand. Did some with kitty litter.
Oh, kitty litter. Okay.
Whatever works. Huh?
Dry cat litters to specify.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you want to show them the cabinets over there?
let's do it.
And then real quick, this is what I spend about 50% of my time doing these days. Is binding.
Yeah. We've been threatening to have a Martin binding wrap or roundup on everybody's different techniques. Do you have any insights to share with that? I see you got a lot of pressure happening there.
I do a lot of this, and I'd be happy to share it. I don't know, is now maybe not the right time because it's pretty
no,
involved.
just if you just shoot out your adhesive. What are you using for adhesive?
Just
Uh-oh. Okay, then super glue.
that's it. Yeah, just thin super glue.
Outstanding. And then do you stick your tongue out and try really hard when you're applying the super glue?
I use a little pipettes to
Mhm.
get it in there, and then use the curved scraper to hold everything in place. I spray the curves. I spray the scraper with the catalyst first, the zip kicker in a airbrush.
Cool.
I spray the inside of the scraper with the airbrush, then clamp it and leave it for about 20 minutes per section, and then a lot of careful scraping and sanding and buffing after that.
Mhm.
but I've gotten pretty good at it. It looks good. So
That's awesome. Cool. Well, would you be willing to, when we have our big roundup on techniques, would you be willing to come share with us?
yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy
Cool.
to. I did this whole procedure at the last GAL thing, and they're going to be publishing it. So I don't think there's any cut. They told, they give you that disclaimer, like you can't use any of this until our magazine comes out. But if it's
we can respect that. I mean,
I'm cool with it.
It might be some time before we get to it either. So we'll give it a little bit of breathing room on the GAL thing. Doug says we're doing a Dan and Doug show on that. Okay. So that's in the
Well, we're
works.
talking about the super glue. We use these little, not sure where
There we are.
can you?
Oh,
We use these teeny weeny little pipettes, right?
yeah.
Guys gave me no end of crapola when I brought in the box of them that I bought.
Uh-huh.
Off of eBay, I bought a box of 20,000. And it was, I don't know, it was well under $200.
Uh-huh.
And we use those all the time, and they go just flicked into the trash.
Yeah.
One quick sip and off it goes.
The
I'm very big on incredibly cheap disposable stuff if it's available.
Yeah. The Stu Mac ones, the long ones are very, I always felt kind of unwieldy. Are those from Stu Mac or are those from some another supplier?
Let's start over. I bought a box of 20,000 of these on eBay.
On eBay. Okay. So another supplier.
It was connected, actually it was from a place that sells pipettes. And you can get on there on the internet, and you can find places that sell disposable pipettes. And if you poke around, you'll be surprised at how incredibly cheap they are.
Very cool.
So the whole idea is to have it so cheap that you don't even think twice about sucking up a single drop, putting it over there, and flip into the trash.
Yeah.
Because
any other pipette tricks beyond that? Do you have any special insights on them? Do you have anything like crazy? Like
if you have a pipette that's if you have these little poly pipettes, and it doesn't have a fine enough tip on it, you go like this and pull it down to a smaller nozzle.
like a little mini extrusion or something, like tooth extrusion.
Just grab onto it and stretch it.
Cool.
Nip it with a razor blade.
Awesome.
That's the only. Well, you wanted the bass banjo.
Yeah, let's take a look at the bass banjo. Whoa.
Walk over and give the demo.
So, Frank, every part of this was manufactured by Frank Ford, correct? Like, is it
From raw materials, except I bought bass drum shell blank and cut it for the ring,
okay?
and then the head comes from Remo.
And
It's a 20.
Go ahead.
It's a 20-inch head, so it's a big drum head. The whole thing is scaled to be just like a Vega 12-inch banjo, tenor banjo. Just simply scaled up that appropriate amount to be a 20-inch. So I scaled everything up that way. Made all the hardware that much oversized. And as far as I know, I'm the only guy who's ever done that. Because it's a lot of work and it's kind of crazy. But I got to the point of having the whole thing finished.
So the tuners, there's a story with those tuners, with the Ricard tuners. Weren't you like partially involved in that through this?
I'm going to put my butt down here on the stool. I guess Brian's going to be the photographer. That's okay.
Yeah.
sorry to be slow moving.
Oh yeah, if you need anything at all, like to take a break or anything like that, we can totally do that.
I don't.
Is that your custom iconography on the head, or is that did
This
somebody
is
do that?
actually one of the guys who worked here did all that drawing. I did
Oh,
the
cool.
artwork, and it was the bass banjo in a fairly short-lived banjo band around here. My pal Michael was in the band. And they lost their bass banjo player, and he took his bass banjo with him. They moped and moped so much, I finally said, "I'll tell you what, I'll make you guys one." Because it just came at a time when it just sort of felt like a project, you know.
Uh-huh.
And here's somebody should keep an eagle bench here. Here is the tuner. Because I got to thinking, well, if I put bass tuners on there, it's not going to look like a banjo at all up there. So you had to have straight back tuners. So I worked on a project for quite some time. I can get into talking glorious detail for hours on this subject, but I hit on a drive mechanism for banjo tuners, and I was speaking to my friend Bill Rickard, who said he was trying to find the smoothest banjo tuner, and so together we got together, and he ended up. I gave him all my plans and prototypes and everything, and he went ahead and put them into production and passed it. So I don't need the money. Don't need the money right now. Just go for it.
Yeah.
See it in progress in production. So this is the giant banjo tuner. But then this one's I think 13-1 actually. And the drive mechanism, I don't think we want to go too far for this, but the drive mechanism is what's known as cycloidal. And if somebody wants, I have a link to my one and only YouTube, which is just me disassembling that so you can see inside.
Yeah, I can add that to I can annotate that into the YouTube video afterwards.
Yeah, I mean you can find it on YouTube. It's not that easy.
Cool.
So that's right there, the biggest instrument I ever made, and the biggest tuner.
The plastic on that tuner button, is that celluloid or is that a different material?
Like the fountain pen turners like to use.
Okay.
That's the biggest instrument I ever made, and this is the smallest.
Oh, cool.
Mandolin that I did quite a long while ago.
Had you seen any of the D'Angelico mandolins before you built that, or was that?
Oh, no. So I made this in 1970. And I had an F4 at the time. And so I just redrew the point on the F4 and duplicated on the other side.
Very cool.
I didn't add that little knee thing on the bottom. So I played this one for years. Actually wore the frets completely out. So that's my big success in playing.
So you were completely responsible for that sound.
But I wore the frets out myself.
Cool.
You'd have to refret it though. Anyway, so that's. I can do an hour in this alone. I won't bother.
You guys want to talk about that? The merits of the vise, the parrot vise, the Versa-Vise?
There's one right here.
And here's the Versa-Vise in its classic form. Even this one even says Versa-Vise on it. They're available on eBay as used items. They haven't been in production for dozens of years. In American production, that is. The company, Shiraz of Grizzly wanted to put these in his catalog, and he tried to buy the company, and they wouldn't sell. So he had them knocked off in China. I couldn't tell you whether one's better than the other. It's the whole idea is that it's got a cam down here at the bottom that presses against the column. So when you close the vise, it locks the swivel.
Oh,
If you take the vise off, you can put it through this hole onto its post. And when you do that, then it's a horizontal arrangement. Pretty handy. I made these, which is just a pair of wooden inserts. They just sit in there. One of them's got a curved back, so they're sort of self-aligning, and that way you can hold a tapered neck or whatever. And they're just plywood with leather lining on one side. They look kind of crummy and Mickey Mouse, but these have lasted way over 10 years.
yeah.
Decades.
What kind of procedures would you throw a guitar into that for? Are you like, if you got like something on the end of the guitar and you're trying to like,
How about restringing?
okay,
Turn it with the neck in, it's tight, it's done. You got the end hanging off there and you can work on it. Want to work on the side of the guitar? You can just clamp it vertically this way and the peg it and self-align it. Put the body anywhere you want on the bench. Easy cheesy. A few years ago, just for fun, I made a sliding bass that's adjustable in length, so I can simply loosen
oh wow,
and shove it to wherever I want it on the side of the bench. Previous
cool.
to that, I had holes in the bench. I would plop it in there. And here's one of the mounts that I converted to a neck rest. So just classic padding of a gym sock, and it just sits there. And it can be moved different places, or it can replace the vise. Like this, I have a neck rest that slides back and forth. As you may notice, my bench here is very crowded. And I'll admit right off the top that I am by a vast margin the least productive guy in the shop these days.
I think you did all your productivity on the front end, right?
I'm afraid so.
But you got a window too, though.
Oh yeah, I got a window to nowhere.
Yeah, this is where the window goes.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Hi, Matt.
okay. Oh, so you can supervise the computer
magic.
operation.
Right.
Except there's stuff posted on the window, so you can't see.
I wouldn't be able to tell if he was working or not. I don't know if that would provide me with much supervisorial information.
You asked about how we apportion the work here, I think, if I recall. And the bottom line is everyone here is on salary. There's no commissions, no benefit for somebody grabbing the job away from somebody else. And I think the big deal for me, as I mentioned earlier, is communication. So I like the idea that who's working on it communicates with the customer, and then just like magic, they each have their own following. So we have people coming in asking specifically to see Luke or Brian or Alex or whoever, and By the way, there's what, 6 of us in the back room here.
That's a by most shop standards, that's a fairly large crew for
Oh.
repair staff.
We're pretty busy, you know. We try to get the stuff done. I talk to shop owners that talk about having 300 or 400 guitars in the queue for repair, and I can't even imagine how that works. We
Yeah.
don't have place for 300 or 400 guitars, you know.
We got about 125, I think, last time I counted.
As
Like coming and going.
That's
in work.
Yeah.
that's still pretty chunky. How much is
That's not backlog.
how do you so you're servicing the community plus you're servicing Gryphon's sales floor, correct?
Which
Like,
is the community, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
so how do you balance those things? Like if somebody comes in and they say, I need to get a guitar repaired, and then Gryphon Sales says we need to get like these Martins out on the floor and reasonably set up. How do you balance those things and tell people when their guitars are gonna?
I think we all have battle scars from that one.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just get interrupted all the time, and we try to control the flow of incoming. We try to schedule our most of our repairs now that are non-retail related.
Mhm.
So we have a calendar, and we just build in a bunch of time to be interrupted.
Do you is your calendar like a Google calendar, or do you run a paper calendar like a regular?
It's Acuity Scheduling. It's just an online program. It looks like something that a dentist would use,
Uh-huh.
but it works really well for us.
That's cool. We'll throw a link for that into the description too.
It's not online for the public.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't saying.
Ours isn't.
I just
Yeah.
mean the actual
Sure.
software. A lot of people we talk about business on here all the time, and scheduling and dates of return and all that. It's a big topic in almost everybody's shop. It can be very frustrating.
Drives us nuts, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you deal with somebody that emails you that they're just checking in?
We
you
get
ever
back.
that?
Yeah,
You get-
I mean, luckily we're pretty good about getting things done on time or sooner, like
Yeah.
90% of the time. And so if we're fine with people just emailing here or there or calling. We just try to say, yeah, it's on schedule to be done when we estimated.
Okay.
Just try to accommodate people. Sometimes they need it quicker for a gig, and we try to accommodate people. We don't have any kind of upcharge for like a quick turnaround. So
Yeah.
we just try to kind of balance out the customer's needs. I mean, if it's a collector that's not in a hurry, we'll put that on the back burner for somebody who's got a gig in 2 days.
Mhm. Cool. Somebody asked how many benches per luthier do you have in there?
Just one.
One per person.
Yep.
So if you get like 5 people doing neck resets at the same time, where do the necks and bodies go as they're switching
Should I give
between
a quick tour?
tasks?
I'll give you a real quick tour to the catacombs.
Catacombs. I like the sound of this.
So the whole top floor of this building is mostly storage.
Uh-huh.
And here's a bunch of our in-progress repairs.
Yes, sir.
We do a lot of shuffling around. Things are going up or drying. We bring them up here to the racks. There's a couple necks pulled out. There's a couple more up here.
Anything in there from the 70s that's just never gonna happen?
We have those hidden somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, this is kind of our, staging.
That's great.
case.
I know she got a humidifier in there. People think of the Bay Area, you think it would be fairly damp, but you have to run a humidifier from time to time.
I find over the last few years, the first part of this winter, our winters can get a little too dry even here.
Wow.
For whatever reason. So we only run it in this little shelf right here,
Mm-hmm.
and only for acoustic guitars, and maybe that we're doing neck resets on just for about a month. We need to do that just to keep the tops from sinking. But there's been years where we haven't needed it at all.
Yeah. We've been going for coming up on an hour, and I thought maybe we should open it up to questions a little bit, if that's okay. Frank, how are you doing? How's your energy level?
Frank's
Oh,
good.
Frank's already.
I'm gonna just show you what's going on real quick here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sounds
And if it isn't, it isn't.
sounds great and plays great. But yeah, I want to get this thing taken care of.
Hey Frank, they want to do some questions in a minute. Is that okay with you?
You can-
have questions?
We can
Seems like-
we can question you while Frank's doing customer service.
We're just looking at
53.
53 D18 here.
Does it have the end grain ivory purfling?
What's the question?
This has the tortoise.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh
The
man,
A little purfling in there is end grain.
end grain
Oh,
ivory.
Yeah.
Those are special guitars.
Oh,
I think
Oh.
I think Colleen's got the idea for that end grain ivory from those, but I'm not
don't
sure.
forget national guitars have the fingerboard with that stuff.
Yeah, it's really slick. Would Frank ever consider making, let's see here, making the frets.com big repair page available for purchase on a zip drive or file? Frank, you do offer that, don't you?
I used to do. I used to have them on CDs.
Yeah. No more?
I don't have a CD writer.
Oh, okay, cool. A determined
I got an
person could-
original I'll sell.
You do? All right.
Yeah. It's a museum piece now, probably.
We'll put you in. We'll put you in touch with the person that asked that. Somebody's asking about Frank's cranks. You're done with Frank's cranks, is that right?
Am I done?
Leave it right now,
Yeah.
but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of in various stages of completion.
Okay.
Some that are almost all the way done, and some that are just being born. But that's all. That all took a hit when I took a hit.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 years, I've had very little time at home in my own shop, only because I can't even get there. At this point, I have a limited window of how long I can stand
check that again.
because of the arthritis is so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to head back and sit and take some questions?
Yeah. We could
Yeah.
sit and take questions.
Okay.
Sure. So let's go on back.
Okay.
We can show the cabinet.
I'll give you guys a quick 30-second shop tour of the retail section. We'll
Yeah.
Frank gets the bench.
You want to show us like what's the winner? Like if you were to walk out of the store with one guitar today, what would be the winner for you?
Well, mine would be an old Fender precision bass, but I don't know. We have this. Most people come here for classic Martin dreadnoughts.
Uh-huh.
We got a Fender room. We just became Fender dealers about 3 months ago. But I don't know what my favorite one right now is.
Those cases are beautiful. The guitar cases, were those have those been there forever? Is this
Yeah,
for,
Frank and Richard have had these forever, decades.
Yeah, the next, because they made two, it's the 11-inch and the 12-inch. So it would be even bigger.
is that a sheet music area? You got a little bit of sheet music in there?
It's just the remainder of the last of the book section, which is kind of always dwindling further and further.
Yeah. Oh, Weisenborn. You got a Weisenborn in there?
Yeah, what is this? I think it's kind of a lazy river.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Couple. Oh, one of the new National Tricone.
Yep, national dealer. We have our little mandolin and the little instrument room up here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The Tinklers.
Yes, little ukulele wall.
Uh-huh. Is that big business there? Is the ukulele craze still kicking in the Bay
Yeah.
Area? Like,
It's not quite as crazy as it was, but we still do. I mean, we're a Kamaka dealer.
Mhm,
Still a lot of kamakas.
mhm. Then your strings and your merch and all that
Yeah,
kind of
it's our
stuff.
kind of counter area here, front
How-
entrance.
How many square feet for the retail part of it?
I would estimate that each part of the business is about 1,000 square feet on the
Yeah.
floor,
Yeah.
and have the whole upstairs for storage and cases and memorabilia,
Uh-huh.
whatnot. Ukulele, another little case of fancier ukuleles here.
Uh-huh. Get the theater roping people off.
Exactly. Here's our rack of incoming instruments for the most part, some outgoing.
How much anxiety does that space give you?
It ebbs and flows. Depends on the month.
Oh, are we getting a bass banjo demo?
Yeah, there's Matt. He's actually specializes in the bass banjo. No, he doesn't. He's just a good musician in general.
Uh-huh.
I think this is the first time I've ever played it.
Yeah.
Zoom does a terrible job with music, but I can tell that thing must just be making a tremendous racket.
The low end is making me nauseous.
Is that right? Oh yeah, it's brown noting you.
Thanks, Matt.
There's a deep prejudice against banjo among some.
Nice
deep
flame.
A deep prejudice against the banjo. How could that be?
Banjos.
I just remember in the 70s, like it seemed like there were too many banjo players. Like there was a surplus of them or something. Like
Geez, bite your tongue, man.
Okay. Well, I was a kid in the 70s. Maybe it just seemed like a lot of banjos.
I'm gonna go get that.
Let's open things up for questions.
Let's do whatever the heck you like.
And then we'll let you guys get back to work but does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to unmute and ask a question of Frank Ford or any of his henchmen? Tim Frick, do you have a question? Are you still there, Tim? Oh my God, my people are terrible question answers.
I can do one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Frank, on a picture a younger Frank Ford who's having a rough day early on in Frank Ford's career. What would be current Frank Ford's bit of advice to help younger problem having Frank Ford keep now that you've got more experience?
Biggest amount of advice you could have given yourself.
This is the I don't know, kind of trait at this point. Just don't sweat the small stuff. And by the way, it's all small stuff. So I think if I look back on myself at any point, I'd say, don't take yourself too seriously, pal. No, I used to do that.
Yeah, I hope we all struggle with that. That's my only hope.
It's a tough one, and it's it's stuff I've told myself for years, and I still believe it 100%. That regardless of what you think you should do, you have to be completely upfront and honest with people. And if you screw something up, you have to immediately say, I screwed something up, but I want to make it good for you. And learn to make time and listen to what they want and give it to them no matter how crazy it seems. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to where they had a disagreement with a customer or a client or whatever, and they fought it. They fought it out, and they always lose. One way or another, they always lose. And if you can somehow understand that if you're straight with them you're doing the best you can.
Yeah, I think that's it's hard to know that you've done the best you can. Like for me personally, that's the part of it that I always struggle with. But
No, but you have to tell yourself that because you put yourself out to do it.
yeah,
So when we screw up, and I'm so far the record holder in the biggest screw ups, partly because I'm as the owner of the place, I'm willing to take greater risks. But I've broken a few things, and when that's happened, the first thing to do is tell the owner exactly what happened, and to my best ability why it happened, and then I'll say, I want to make this up to you. I want to make you. It's a trite phrase, but I want to make you whole again. You know, what can I do for you? And whatever they ask for, my goal is to do about 50% more. And if it means buy the instrument for me, I'll do it.
yeah,
If it's a bad enough screw up. You know, I can rattle on about, you know, some of the stories of how that's all worked out, but it's terribly painful when it happens.
it is.
You think, I'm not going to live through this, but you know, you do. And you know, you see so many examples. You know, all you have to do is look anywhere in the political scene these days, and the politicians and business guys are constantly screwing up, doing things they shouldn't, but they never take it. They never take responsibility for it and say, yeah, and tell people before it hits the fan. They always wait until it hits the fan. Then there's no hope. But if you catch it before it does, you have a chance. So my ex used to be the public relations writer for a place called Great America Theme Park here. Great America Hotel near the theme park. And she got a phone call from the PR person out at the theme park who said, we just had a child killed on one of the rides. What do I do next? And she said, immediately call the press and call the cops and tell them exactly what happened. And what did they do? They covered it up. And then later on, did the shit ever hit the fan?
Yeah, it's
just
tough.
And it's predictable, close to 100% of the time.
That the cover-up's worse than the cover-up is worse than the incident, always.
Yeah, the repercussions from the cover-up is just, they'll kill you. And you know, we in our little business here, we have local and not so local examples of people who do that routinely. And when it comes to taking responsibility for something that didn't work out, they immediately become combative, and it's just like farther and farther down into the quicksand.
You know,
until their reputation is shot.
Frank, on the subject of risk and repair, I mean, you in your career have been on the cutting edge of a lot of repair techniques where you probably went into a repair, you know, with the best intentions, but maybe you were speculating that something would work and then it didn't work. But how do you maintain? I mean, do you ever front load the conversation with the customer going, hey, I'm going to do my best, but we're in uncharted territory here?
Oh, hell yes, absolutely. You know, often enough, we'll try to explain, you know, what's wrong with your instrument, might not be fixable, you know, and so we'll go at it the best we can. But, you know, this is what we'll try to do the best we can, what we can do, you know, and I think the one area where that's close to a daily occurrence is cosmetic touch-up. We have a policy around here, never under any circumstance do we say, oh yeah, we'll touch that up. You'll never know anything happened.
Mhm.
That's instant disaster.
I actually borrow, I believe it's your line that it looks expertly attended to, I think is one that you use.
I think I use well attended to, but that works. And the
Yeah.
whole idea is exactly say,
Professionally attended to.
there's a big ding in the top, and yes, we can fix it, but you'll still be able to see it from across the room. And again, I can, if you like me rattle on with another cute story, I can do that.
Actually, we have one more question from Elaine
Sure.
Hartstein. She wants to know, are there any like current fashionable trends in repair that you see come in that annoy you, that maybe you think are the wrong direction? Like, do you see any?
Oh boy, bridge plates. Oh no. I do not understand bridge plates.
Do you want to, we said yesterday when we were talking that you didn't want to talk about bridge plates. We don't have to.
I was thinking, well, I just don't want to get into a fight over them,
Yeah.
But
You believe in replacing them, correct? Like when they're cracked or they're.
I believe in fixing stuff that's broke.
Yeah.
And so we have had a 1940 D28 here. Bridge had split down the middle completely, one end to the other through the pinholes. The top had buckled up, had a cross grain break running that whole distance
Through the spruce.
through the spruce. Bridge plate was split in half, and so was a bridge. And we looked at it and said, this is kind of too risky. And so we told the customer, yeah, we can replace the bridge, but there's just no real structural integrity there underneath. Guess what? We replaced the bridge. And, oh boy, split right down the middle because it's all spongy underneath. And so we ended up having to do an overlay on the bridge plate. In regard to that, I'm always thinking in terms of the fact that 100% of the strain on a bridge is directly in line with the strings, obviously, and the grain of the top. Yet we put a bridge plate on that's very thin, with the grain going the other way, with holes drilled right in the middle. So what are the chances of it splitting? Oh, only a lot.
Pretty high.
And
And you see it a lot. You see split bridge
So,
plates.
exactly. And so you can patch it up and stuff like that, but to have it really solid, you need to have something to bridge all of that or to cross all of that. So I have no problem with the idea of replacing things or working on things where the let's say the safety of the instrument or the integrity of the instrument is compromised by leaving it alone. So
Cool. I mean, I'm like when that. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't. Okay, I'll do one more. I'll do one more line on it. People are constantly talking about the tonal difference between replacing the bridge plate and the original bridge plate.
Yeah.
And overlay. And the problem is they have literally no way they can judge that, because our judgment comes through the only sensing device we have, which is our crazy brain. And we have no way to compare it before and after. People say they can, but it's proven any number of times it's not true. The only way you can compare tone to get the finest discriminations is to put one down and pick the other one up immediately.
Yeah.
Because the research guys say we have around 5 seconds of the finest discrimination memory. What's that mean when you say, well, I wouldn't do that because it destroys the tone? Would you even know? And does it just much,
Like you know, a month later when the repair is done, you listen to it again, and then, all kinds of factors have changed. Maybe the humidity in the shop has changed, like you never know.
The biggest thing biggest thing that changes is between your ears.
Hmm?
The biggest thing that changes is between your ears. You know, when I get up in the morning and or sometime and play my own instrument, there's some days I can't recognize it. Some days I think, man, this is the coolest.
Yeah,
You know, it's not changing. It's me.
that's right. It's amazing. It's amazing that perception thing. I remember like after I think it was after JJ Cale died, somehow that Garcia version of After Midnight was running around. And I listened to it one day and I was like, oh my God, this guitar playing is like, it's like solving high level calculus problems. It's so amazing.
Sure.
And then the next day I listened to it and it sounded like complete gibberish. Like it just sounded ridiculous. And the only thing that changed was how I was feeling or something. Like it didn't have anything to do with the recording. The recording was static, you know?
It's mighty important to admit that kind of stuff.
It
And
is.
so when it comes to customers or players asking for a change in tone with different modifications, I just say, can't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't do that.
Well, and so for very few of those people, it seems like it's the thing that's holding them back creatively. Like it's just such a small part of the picture of music that I don't know why it's even worth talking about sometimes. But somebody asked, Justin Eisman, Frank, in your shop, do you automatically do a refret with a neck reset? That's a really good question.
We take it as a given, but we don't always. You know, always is a big word for us, but generally we take that as part of the job. So
90%?
Yeah, well, of the time, yeah. So that if try to distill it to its simplest form, why does a person bring the guitar in for neck resetting?
Plays like doo-doo.
The biggest bulk of people don't actually know the term neck reset. They bring it in because they can't play it. It doesn't play as well as it used to. And so we can boast, I think, with really good confidence that we can restore it to new instrument playability by taking the neck out, changing the angle, putting it back in, taking the frets out, leveling the fingerboard, putting the frets in, leveling down, set up the bridge and nut appropriately. And I think there we have a near 100% success because the request is pretty simple. But, you know, we run into folks who ask, well, can you do it without refretting? And we'll look at the guitar and say, you know, the frets are in great shape here, so we can't. But when we put the neck in, like it or not, there'll be a change in the curvature or the surface of the fingerboard because it's going to get glued down to a body that's now in a different position. So could have a little effect in higher range. Oh, well, that's not important to me. Great, let's go for it. By and large, if we have to do any extensive fret leveling, we start to ask ourselves a very simple question about, is it worth it for us to do? And, you know, when we can pretty much guarantee easy playability by refretting it, do we want to spend too much time trying to level the existing frets and get there 90% of the way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's completely appropriate. I've done it a couple times, and one of which ended like how I was fearing, which was the person was like, why doesn't this play to 100% of a perfect playing guitar when you did 90% like we talked about, and you told me to expect these things? It still was unreasonable, but you run into unreasonable people all the time for various reasons anyway.
And that's true. We have the long list of crazies that we can talk about. That people are just completely unreasonable about everything. Often enough, we often enough just have to turn jobs down because the vibe is so clear.
Yeah.
He said, this guy is going to be total trouble. We just say, well, I don't think we can work to your needs.
Do you have like kind of a, what's your number one red flag when somebody says something and you're just like, oh boy, this is not going to work? Is there any one thing that sticks out as a red flag?
Well, when the guy reaches into his pocket and pulls out notes on graph paper.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. Or if he happens to have a dial caliper in his back pocket.
A dial caliper in his back pocket. We're not a good fit.
So one of the guys here used to say, there's a Casey Jones out there for you.
Uh-huh.
Meaning, look out, it's an engineer. It's an engineer.
Uh-huh. Oh my God, you must get a ton of those there. Like, because they're
sure. The thing about engineers is they know more than we do.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah. And still they're not luthiers though.
That's what I'm saying. But we had a 40 some odd year run of having a Carol McComb here teaching group lessons, and we would see lots and lots of beginners, and I love working with beginners, and I love working with amateur players and those guys because I think it's really important. Those are the people who need their instrument to play right. Mm-hmm. So if there's a person that I feel the best about fixing up for playability, it's the guy getting started, because he needs the help by the instrument. He needs his instrument to not hinder him. A real pro can play any damn thing. So we had this one guy came at the back counter. He says, my wife's taking the beginning class, but she's having trouble with barred chords. And I said, well, it's just early. She's just getting beginning. He says, well, I need to find somebody who can make me a guitar with a concave fingerboard. And I said, well, there's a reason the fingerboard has an arch to it. It goes the other way, not concave. He says, all right, I'm an engineer, so I'm going to have to explain it to you.
Uh-huh.
So he says, now, show me your hand. Show me your first finger and take your first finger and stick it out. And I said, he says, notice how the bottom of your finger describes an arc. Well, that would be the radius of the fingerboard that would match that. Right. So the bottom of your finger describes how the fingerboard should look on top. Yeah, okay. If you happen to have like a little hydraulic piston or something holding your hand down in the middle, maybe. But the fact is that guitars have radius fingerboards, so it's easier to bar chords, not harder. So we went round and around with him. It never did convince him. He says,
really?
Well, I guess I'll just have to look elsewhere.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And I'm sure wherever else he went got the same answer. Just there's all kinds of guys, but the people that have to have their instrument in absolutely perfect condition at all times, they're a difficult crowd. The tiniest little nick is like, oh my God, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I've worked on
an interesting line.
Like working on a brand new Collins versus working on an old Martin that's worth twice as much, but is already a little bit rustic. I mean, way less anxiety for double the value. Jackson, do you have time for one more?
Oh, Bill raises the bar so high.
Say that again.
I said Bill raised the bar so high nobody can clear it.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah. Do you have time for one more question, do you think?
I got time to do whatever you want.
Jackson Corey asked, do you have any thoughts on what is good and bad in high-end boutique guitars today? He's working with Sergey De Jong, and is hoping to build full time. And any advice would be recommended. You know, we see a lot of guitar
I
builders that
think I
kind of
lost you there.
oh. Let me do you want me to reread it?
So do I have an opinion on high-end boutique guitars?
Yeah, you know, we see a lot of stuff that frankly I don't, you know, like I haven't been in that world, so I see a lot of flying buttresses and you know, interesting repair or interesting construction concepts that we haven't. Maybe you've seen more of these techniques and, you know, interesting construction things in the wild, and potentially either failing or doing remarkably
Right.
better than the original stuff. Do you have any tips on like trying to get into the boutique world? Does Gryphon deal with boutique modern manufacturers much, or
Not really. I mean, we definitely do have them come along, and we talk to them and all. But I think the bottom line is that if those guys had done more repair work in their life, they would learn what fails and what doesn't. So we do see construction techniques that look very interesting, but later on you'll find out that the flying buttress or the brace that hops over the other brace or whatever doesn't have enough gluing surface to hold under the right kind of trauma, you know. So that's always possible. But beyond that, I don't have an opinion other than really, I'm extremely impressed with the new group of luthiers and their aesthetic, visual aesthetic. I mean, some of these guys building what's called art pieces or anything you want to call them, just amazing at how their mind works and the kinds of things they've come up to do and combine that with a guitar that all works. That's pretty damn cool.
it is really like amazing. Like especially like I'm probably of a similar generation where you just could not imagine a guitar shape that wasn't a L5 or a Martin Dreadnought or a Stratocaster or something like that. And this next generation's really taken just design to the next level on guitars. Like,
absolutely wonderful. You know, and so it's all personal for both the builder and the player. You know, so it's the one thing that we do notice is that when it comes to buying and selling guitars, ordinary vanilla is what sells.
Yeah.
And crazy stuff sells to the right person, and they make him happy for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy to see him. I love him.
Yeah.
But from a retailer standpoint, I think it would be great if or it's just from a logical standpoint, that if people would kind of get off this notion that all guitars are somehow collectible. That's really, that puts people in a pretty bad corner, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're not all collectible. Talking about instruments that were made by the thousand and saying, well, gee, if you change this aspect, put different tuners, well, it's going to ruin its collectible value. So it's easy for me to jump on the old cynic soapbox here.
Yeah, you know, I tell people from time to time, you know, I didn't get into this to work on baseball cards. You know, like at the end of the day, there's got to be music attached to it.
I like that. Very good. Yeah, I like that. I'll use it.
So, hey, I think we should let you go and get back to work, but can we get you on again in the future and do this again? I feel like once again, I think this is our third time, and every time has felt like we're just scratching the surface. But would you feel amenable to coming back?
I think we all are for all of us, of course. We can talk whatever you want.
Absolutely.
I would say my job around here is rather varied compared to what it used to be. But even then, I didn't do repair work all day.
Yeah.
'Cause I wear so many hats that, you know, took the hair off on top, you know, switching them.
That's what happened to me too. So
Yeah,
but
it's terrible, isn't it?
actually my hair when I had some, it was such a pain that I was actually one of the few people that was glad to see it go. So
In a way,
but yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah.
the
So
can we get everybody to unmute and to give Frank a very heartfelt thank you and thank you. Where's your henchman at? Can we thank him as well?
oh, the guy's here. Hey, Brian.
Brian, can we get you back in to deliver a thank you to you?
Well, you turn your back around here and they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Thank
They're out.
you. Frank and Brian.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Frank and Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey,
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Brian.
Take care.
Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Thank you,
Everybody be
guys.
good.
And to everybody else, the Luthalong is in full effect. And Frank, you're welcome to hang out and talk with everybody if you want, or if you need to get back to work.
Unfortunately, I got the adoring public to deal with today coming in.
Okay.
To talk about music instruments and things like that. I'll definitely be up for a revisit. You bet.
Okay. Take care.
Did we want a website for the shop? And we'd had any number of customers say, geez, I sure wish you had a website. I said, well, sorry, we don't. And I said, well, you know, then I could see what you have for sale on the internet. I said, well, you're here every week for a lesson. Look around. And they said, well, yeah, we know that, but I want to look at it on other times. Took me a good long while to figure out what they're talking about. They wanted to waste time at work. And I think that's still the MO for an awful lot of folks.
For the internet usage. Yeah. It's so did the Gryphon shop website, did that predate the frets.com?
It was close to simultaneous.
Yeah.
We had this disagreement as to what a website consists of. He saw it as a billboard, and I saw it as a magazine. And it looked like we were not going to get it off the ground. So I said, "Oh God damn it! I'll just do it myself." So I had just gotten a cable internet connection, and so I didn't have to do the dial-up on everything all the time. And the guy who did the cable install said, "You know what? You could serve your own website right here if you want to." So I bought this little software package that allowed me to do that. And I said, "Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to have a domain name." So I started looking around for different names. I tried, all the instruments, guitar and mandolin, any combination of my name or Gryphon's name or anything, and somehow stumbled onto Frets that had been abandoned. And so I said, I'll do that. So I just grabbed frets.com, and I saw that as a mandate to do something with it. Once I started writing the articles, I kind of went nuts. So I think one year I took 50,000 photos with my with a series of different digital cameras. I think there's still 20,000 of them posted. It's ridiculous. But along the way, I've had any number of people try to buy the web address because it's a short 5-letter address, and theoretically, for some folks, that's more desirable, right, to have a short address. And I've always turned them down, of course. But I got a phone call, not a phone call, an email from a guy who said, I see you have frets.com. I happen to be the person who has frets.org. Would you be interested in buying it? And I said, well, yeah, I'd do that. How much do you want? And he said, I'm thinking $30 would be good. So for $30, I bought it. Frets.org. Never really did anything with it, but I figured, well, once I had that, I got to get the third one. I've got to get that full house, right? So that's where frets.net comes along. And so I looked around and found that frets.net was actually not really being used. And so I wrote to the owner of that and said, I've got frets.
We can't shoot today. I sent you an email.
And I said, I'd like to get I'd like to have that one. Would you be interested in selling it? And he said, okay. What are you offered? And so I said, I'll give you $100 for it. He says, nah, that's ridiculous. It's worth way more than that. Am I still on the air?
You are, yeah.
Okay, good. It was he says, it's worth way more than that. I said, yeah, I know, but it's not a big deal. I don't really need it. And I thought maybe you could take your wife out for a nice meal and a bottle of wine. And about a month later, I get this email back from him. He says, I've been thinking about that dinner and a bottle of wine. Let's do it.
Uh-huh.
And so now I have all three. And someday I might figure out what to do with org, but at this point, it just points to the others.
Yeah.
Frets.net turned out to be kind of a stopgap thing that I was doing to try to cut down on all the email I had to answer. And it's hosted by it's hosted by an outfit that's, how do I say, way behind the curve right now. But it happens that I knew somebody who worked there, and it's a local company, and so I climbed on board with that. But it's still out there. There's very, very low activity.
Yeah, I still cruise by it. I was on frets.net when I believe you first started. You started that in 2009 or 8 or something?
I have to say I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I tend to mark everything by the bad things in my life. So it was probably just before or just after my heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time, 2011, that was the time I pretty much quit adding to frets.com. The energy level went way down and all of that kind of stuff. Just simply don't have the time right now because it's hard for me to drag into the shop. I get in here 6 days a week, but I can't, I really shouldn't spend more than maybe 4 hours a day.
Any idea what do you look at your web traffic on frets.com anymore? Do you know how many people a day are looking at that?
I haven't looked at that. No.
What was your, back when it was cracking, what was your peak? Were you getting like 10,000 visitors a day or?
I'll second that by saying I've never looked at it.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I'm sorry to say. I get a lot of good responses for it. I really,